Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab. Well, I do what I do for you. Oh, I got something nice for you today. Here we go. Now, right here's a 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. This is going to be a good one for you. Hope you enjoy it. Let's go. Right? Thinking mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission, and that's what I'm on to get all my right thinkers to know thyself. Right thinkers, your goal should be to know thyself. So let's work together and get it done. It's all for you. Let's go. So I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical. But if you know how to answer it too, then I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. Help you to know you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and thinks that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know it's okay. They're spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here too. Wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. And to Mayat, be true. Right thinkers, let's talk about learning or teaching the teachings of contentment. That's a word we don't hear too much of. Why? Because we haven't found pleasure and satisfaction within oneself, because that's what contentment really means. If you break it down, I'm going to do just that for you. Let's talk about it. Right thinkers, let's talk about the teaching of commitment. Now, the right thing philosophy, teachings of the commitment, figures prominently here. Watch. Contentment does not mean what? Stopping your efforts to improve yourself. Well, I got when I'm a fat cat, I made enough money, I got a few dollars in the bank, I got everything going, so I'm content. I ain't gotta do nothing else. That's not what contentment means. It does not mean giving up the struggle of life and just letting God or your money do all the work for you. The teachings of contentment is a profound, why? Mystical philosophy in which must be understood thoroughly. A lot of people think they understand and they misunderstand, so they're using it in the wrong content and they practice it in the wrong way. This is the purpose and the problem with a bunch of our religious concepts. Why? Misunderstanding, misuse, because of the misinterpretation. We should all be on the same page. If you following my philosophy, we all following the same thing. Just saying. But let's get back to contentment. The feeling of what? Discontent arises when a person what? Continuously, watch this, because of ignorance, compares themselves what? To others, or engages in what? One's personal physical desires after another, chasing a pleasure, chasing a dragon, I keep telling you. When you want to experience that you had once and it's only a one-time experience, you should let that go. Why? Because you're never going to have it again. That first love, you're never going to have the first love again. The first is the reason for the first. Lose your virginity only going to happen once. You know what I'm saying with this? So understand that. Now, in this form of thinking, ignorance, there is always what? Something to be what? Dissatisfied with. Not happy because you didn't get this. Not happy because they got something better than you. All the time comparing, all the time looking at what everybody's got and ain't thinking about themselves or what they do have. They worry more about what they don't have. One day I'm going to have, one day I'm going to be. Dreaming, living in the future. We got memory, left side, imagination, right side. Use both sides. Don't get caught up in the future and don't get caught up in too much of your past. Stay equal. Stay in the present. Knowing and understanding the the past, having plans and understanding for the future, but living in the moment. That would be contentment. There's always, watch this, for people who don't have the understanding, there's always what? Someone with what? More money than you, a bigger house than you, better car than you. You see, when you're in competition, you're gonna always find reason to what? Be dissatisfied or not be happy because somebody got something better, bigger, or more than you. Don't live for that. Live for self. And when you're content, watch this. I forgot the title. The contentment is what? Doing your best with less. It's easy when you got abundance of stuff. How can you function without a whole bunch of stuff? I've been homeless before, so I've been ass out. Okay, I've been when I ain't got nothing, nobody give me nothing, so I had to pick myself up and get back in the game, what they call life. Don't just give us say, well, God dealt me a bad hand, or no, no, no. You got control over yourself. Understand that, and watch this. Because there's always somebody with more stuff than you, that will continue. It won't stop. But therefore, now, if you compare yourself to others or constantly craving what you do not have, you will ensure your life will be what? Miserable and unfulfilling. That means you're living in a depressed state of mind. You ain't getting nothing. You ain't doing nothing. You ain't aspired to be nothing. Roll over in the ball and just call it a day. Okay? Get the do-over again. Come back reincarnated and try it again. But how about picking yourself up from where you are right now and get yourself back in the race of life and start manifesting for yourself things that's going to make you or help you be a better you to reach that state of contentment. Contentment means what? What's this? That you have realized, there you go, what? That the self, your higher self, God, has placed you, what's this? Exactly where you need to be. Now, could you imagine I'm having that? I'm out in Lincoln Park, downtown Newark, colored up behind the wall. How you think I felt about God? How much God I had in me then? God, why? God, yeah, in my dude's basement, all my possessions. Where was God then? He was there. I just wasn't doing what I need to do to get out of where I was. You are where you ever you want to be. That's where you are. That's where God got you. Why? Because it's all up to you. Understand that. And when you got nothing, it's because of you. If you got everything, again, it's because of you. But don't get caught up in that. Why? You see, watch this. Contentment means you're exactly God put you where exactly you need to be. Once you realize that, now with exactly what? The right resources. The resources, if you still got breath in you, you still got the ability to think and comprehend, and you can gain the experience what that you will need, which will lead you to what? Spiritual enlightenment. That's how I got here. If I gave up, I wouldn't be here. So I can tell you from the bottom to the top, as they say to the pig, they eat the rooter to the tutor. And if I didn't get my hand that oink, I'm going to try him too. But the concept is knowing thyself as a complete self, good, bad, or indifferent. You need to understand who you are to be your best self. Now, with this profound faith, and see it says faith, and say belief, faith and understanding. There you go. That's knowledge that you must develop what? The feeling that your inner self is now what? Guiding you. I was held up in that corner. God was guiding me then what? Get comfortable, get your rest, and get out and go do something when the sun come up. Okay? Now, God is guiding you through what? Your life's mystery in the way towards what? Which is a good and right way of life if you choose to do what you have to do for you. With this understanding, that's the right thing, because watch this. Now you can accept all situations in life with what? Equal vision. And furthermore, now you're equipped what? What to deal with whatever. Why? Because there's peace and contentment within oneself. And now you can see all situations, good or bad, whether or not they are prosperous or adverse. And you're going to have them. It's called life. You don't control that. You do control you when they happen to you. Okay? Now, as favorable for what? Your spiritual evolution, you have to go through life. Ain't no getting around that. Okay, and everybody talking about the dark side and all that nonsense. That's just you recognizing you for who you really are. Come to grips with that. Most of us don't want to put, no, it's like skeleton in the closet, toss it in there. Nobody will know. Oh, we in the age of information. They're going to know. And the main thing about it, at least you should know. And you do. But you just try to hide it, deal with it. Okay, that's what information means. We're going to have to deal with whatever, where we at. So now, many people, watch this, who have not studied mystical philosophy, aka right thinking philosophy, Shitat, Netta, Semi-Tawi, whatever, the ancient Egyptian philosophy, live what? Live your life in a state of, you ready? Perpetual ignorance, aka contradictions. I tell my students, if what they say don't match what they do, don't trust them. Simple as that. That same go for me. If I say it, I should be doing it. If I'm professing it, I should be following it. If people tell you a whole bunch of stuff that what you should do and they ain't doing it, those are mega preachers. Excuse me, those are people who are egotistical, who feel as though they're perfect and you the one need to work on you. I'm working on me every day. And these are the things I bring to you. Why? Because I'm learning them for myself. Now, if there is peace, they will complain. These kind of people, watch this. Which one are you? When there's peace, you know what they're going to complain about? Ooh, there's no excitement. It's boring. I need something to do. We all know them people. Then they got things because they want to do things because things are cool. They want something else. Again, never focusing in on the present. So now, if there's a lot of excitement and movement going on, what they going to complain about? Yep, that they should be what? Peace and calm. Or if it's raining, we don't control nature. I keep telling everybody, why are we worrying about what nature doing? You got no concern over that. If it's raining, get an umbrella. Stay inside, whatever. But don't complain about it raining. Nonsense. But watch this. If it's raining, they're going to complain about that. There should be what? Sunshine. Oh, and guess what? Even them same people, if there is sunshine, you know what they're going to complain about? Man, it's too hot. The sun is making me conditions uncomfortable. I'm going to go get an air conditioner. You know the kind of people? And it goes on and on. If you that person, check you. That's all. Stop complaining about everything that ain't going on and relax and enjoy what is going on. You should look at the world again with what? With an objective eye, not subjective. Right quick. I hate when people, if it don't coincide with what they think or what they believe, it ain't right. You can't learn if that's all you're doing. It being subjective about information that's coming to you. We're in the information age. We should be objective. My whole concept of how I do, because I am objective of everything, I have no disrespect or disregard for anything. Again, just respect. That's all it is. If you want it, you should give it. You reap what you sow. If I'm giving respect, I should get it back. Simple as that. I just want you to understand. If you are objective, you can receive, you can obtain, you can gain information and use it, which is intended. But if you are subjective, you're going to repel anything that don't coincide with what you think. My man Ray Hagan said, this is the circle. Okay, subjective people, you have a circle. And anything outside the circle, you don't want that in. Like my teacher says, Scotty Guru, when you build walls, are you building walls to keep people out or are you building a wall to keep yourself in? Think about it. Moving on, but that's my whole point. Be objective. Let's telling you that for a reason. Okay, yeah. Look at life with an objective eye. That means see what's there and what? Accept it as it is. And don't try to impose your own egoistic, asinine notions of what it should be from nature to other people. I'm upset right now. I hate when people do just that, impose their egoistic, nonsensical belief system on other people. Keep it to yourself. Work with it. If it's working for you, show them. Rolls Royce don't have commercials for a reason. Masons don't solicit for a reason. You're supposed to show. Let them, what you do, speak for itself. That's why. And I don't solicit right thinking philosophy. A power, watch this, a power far beyond your capacity of ignorance to comprehend through what? Your egoistic mindset, which is subjective again, and is controlling every aspect of nature and has created what? Just the right conditions that are necessary at what? Just the right time. That's powers that be. You don't control none of that. And contradictions, watch this, always arise. Why? Due to lack of knowledge and understanding of nature itself. Oh, it's raining. You know a few days ahead of time what the damn weather gonna be. Excuse me. But that's why we got people to tell you, to prepare you, to deal with it, not to change it. When your lack of understanding, therefore, what? If you become well versed in what? The right thing of philosophy or the mystical concepts that I teach, you will be able to what? Reduce the nonsense and the mental agitation which you bring on yourself through ignorance, which is caused by your contradictions of one thing this way, one thing that way, ain't never the same thing. And you will have what? The possibility to lead a peaceful life once you learn and adopt right thing of philosophy and cut out all the nonsense that you do to yourself. And what? Now you'll be able to enjoy what? Life more fully. If you worried about a bunch of problems, you worried about a bunch of people, places, and things that you got no control over, you ain't living. You worried about a bunch of stuff that you got no control over. Know thyself, study thyself, master thyself, and life will be good. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. Why? That's what Mayat teaches and promises you. Now, y'all call it God, Christ. I call it Mayat. Why? Because it's a philosophy, it ain't a person. It's a thing that you can actually do and practice and manifest. The results is for real. Let's go. Okay. Furthermore, you will develop a what? A solid base. If your foundations is based on belief, I don't practice a belief system. I'm explaining it to you. Hope you can understand this, please. Belief means not to know. Ignorant means not to know. They are synonymous. So if you follow a belief system, you're ignorant because you don't know, but you believe. I don't concern myself with beliefs. Please understand that. So let's move on. Now, when you have a solid base, which mine is my philosophy, in your inner harmony, which I have, which will make what? Make it possible for what? You to succeed in the right thing philosophy practice of what? Formal meditation. If you practice how to raise your consciousness, live righteous and be virtuous, and add the meditation to your daily life activities, you will be content. You will reach a level of what? Self-satisfaction through your self-actions, aka WRIGHT. Your job in human form is to make the effort within your capacity to what? Act in a righteous, virtuous manner, and to use what? God's gifts, which you have been given. You was given life. You was given consciousness. All you gotta do is put forth the effort. I'm giving you the information. All you gotta do is listen and implement it. The gifts of the inner self, the true self, what? Are misused or squandered when a human being is what? Guided by, you ready? Is ego. And this causes you to be what? Covetous. You have discontent. You feel of greed. Your mind is constantly agitated. You have discontent for things that don't go the way you think it should. You have disbelief in anything that ain't of your knowledge. And you are impatient. You are pessimistic, excuse me. And through all this, you are depressing and you are cynical in heart. So that means you just a bad person. That's called having a black heart. You got all these things that's inside you that you exercise, that you ain't trying to better yourself. You're not a good person, no matter what career you choose, no matter what philosophy you follow. If you have all these things going in your heart, you're not a good person. Moving on. And meditation and contentment starts with the self. Watch this. Now, this is why what the spiritual scriptures, y'all call them Bibles, book that come forth by there, we all have them. Scripture of all traditions, the Kabbalah for the Jews, emphasize what? the development, the self-development of what? You ready? Virtue as part of a valuable spiritual discipline. I told you I live by my highest spiritual discipline, causing me to be God conscious, doing what I know to be right. I'm not going to do wrong things intentionally no more. Much impatience, watch this. Much impatience is given to what? Excuse me, well, I messed that all up. Excuse me. Much importance, I guess that can't be right. Much importance is given to what? Self-control over what? Emotions. Your ego self. Why? It's all emotional. You got to have control over self. You got to have self-control, intestinal fortitude, balance, my girl, my yacht, contentment. What? Because you are in a place where you're comfortable with what you're doing and how you're doing it. Faith and hope that what? Things will get better by what? The action that you produce. And that's how it's done. You ain't got to believe. And you got to have patience among other things. Why? To know it takes time. I want it right now. It don't happen like that. Young people, stop with the instant gratification. That's only in the physical world. Spiritual and mental things take time. It's a progression. It's a process. Sex and physical concept is just right now. So you get satisfaction. Then what you got? Nothing. Moving on. So you want more. You want to be better than just physical. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience, but don't let the physical experience run you. Why? Because you're destined to be here. You won't elevate. You won't become godlike. That's why. Knowing thyself is raising your conscious level above the physical, which is your lower nature. I've been giving that lesson forever. Moving on. Let me get to. I see the clock running. All right. Let me wrap it up. These teachings are prominent amongst what? The ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. They've been telling you that since forever. Texts which date back, you ready? More than 10,000 years. So if I got information of 10,000 years of our ancient ancestors' practice, which is all authentic, which is all ours, I'm not going to let you give me a 2,000-year concept that you got from them. So don't try to sell me on nothing biblical. Please understand that. I'm not a Christian. I don't do religion. So I could care less. I know the book. Understand that. That's your book, not mine. Read some of my books and learn something for a change. But let me wrap this up. Sorry about that. I'm making permission. Oh, yeah. The teachings are prominent from the ancient Egypt. That's been around for 10,000 years. So I'm not falling in love with a 2,000-year-old philosophy based on belief in general. A mental atmosphere of peacefulness and contentment is necessary for what? For sublime thoughts and for the aspiration to emerge in your mind. You got to be at a place in contentment to have good, positive thoughts. Other than that, again, thoughts is everywhere. If you ain't meditating, you can't focus and concentrate them thoughts where they can do you the best good. Moving on. Now, otherwise, through life, which is based on, what's this? Belief, pursuing satisfaction of the what? The senses. Again, the five senses. There is constant what? Desire and agitation of the mind. And you, the individual, will always what? Be occupied with what? Petty thoughts, we call them. Just random thoughts that, why would you do that? Why would you? Petty thoughts and what? Disturbances, excuse me, of your day-to-day life. You get up every day, excuse me. You practice and do the same thing and expect a different result. You are insane. But a lot of people do it. So moving on. They tell me, well, that's how I live. Okay? You're living in the same concept. But now, therefore, the maintenance of what? Serenity and contentment should be what? Your primary goal of all spiritual aspirants. To find contentment within yourself, to be happy with what I'm doing, to be in a place where you are happy with what you're doing and everything around you. That's not easy to achieve, but it should be a goal that you should set for yourself. Why? That's what it's all about. If you sights are set on aspiring to be rich, famous, we already know that don't get nothing. But now the following ancient Egyptian proverbs, I got a few of them coming up. I'm going to put that in the next lesson. I see time is running out. I see the clock. The following ancient Egyptian proverbs from the teachings of my girl, Maya, were available to who? Plato, he studied it. And the following ancient Egyptian proverbs were also followed by Plato and who else? Early, you ready? Christian theologians. They studied out of the philosophy and the mysticism of Egypt. They tell you Moses came out of Egypt. So these would have been the first teachings that the initiates would receive. And Mayat itself, as discussed earlier, implies virtue, justice, righteousness, reciprocity, and more importantly, order. Everything stands on Mayat, even Ra, and that's God. So he understands what and who Mayat is to you. I'm going to end the lesson on that one. I'm going to come back with something real nice for you. So, right thinkers, in closing, may y'all live to be 100, me 100 minus a day. So I never know that right thinker like you have passed away. I'll be back.